was a mess. He ended up finding drug paraphernalia and told me that I am possibly going to go to jail. He then proceeded to go to the trunk of his car where I couldn't see him.
The first time we're seeing what a former Fairfax County officer says was his reason for pulling over a former DC
Crossed
firefighter.
over the
solid yellow line during this drive in April of 2018. If you didn't see the car cross over the line, well, neither did Fairfax County Internal Affairs, who interviewed Freetag about this traffic stop in 2020. News 4 obtained the audio from that interview.
We don't see the vehicle cross the solid line.
Let's play the video, but we played this literally an expression here where you can see his tires touch the solid line.
So they touch the solid line?
Yeah, they literally touch it. He's crossing over the line.
Freetag pulls Wilson over, then claims he smells marijuana and that the windows are too tinted.
About tint meters and their usage. You've never been trained. You have no knowledge of. Have you ever charged someone with a tint violation before?
Yeah.
Freetag arrests Wilson after finding guns and drugs inside the vehicle, which Wilson has said were not his.
What's going on, guys? Disorderly Product News. First of all, before we start off, I'd like to say that this story came to my attention through the channel Asd-docs. The link will be in the description. He's doing a multi-part series on the baby-faced officer of evil, Jonathan Freetag. With that being said, cue the music! So in Northern Virginia and Washington, D.C., Jonathan Freetag and Elon Wilson dominated the headline. Elon Wilson was a Washington, D.C. firefighter who was now on trial for possession of handguns along with narcotics. He was facing a 10-year sentence. With a 5-month-old baby at home, he decided to take a plea for 3 years. And off to prison he went. Elon Wilson starts serving his 3-year prison sentence in July of 2019. The Fairfax Police Department say they start investigating Mr. Freetag in July of 2019. They take Officer Freetag off the streets, and instead of being fired, he resigns on his own in May of 2020. The Washington Post is the first to publicly report allegations of misconduct in June of 2020. Now here's where it gets crazy. Gypsy cops is a term used for officers that resign with checkered past. Surely an officer like Jonathan Freetag, the baby-faced officer of evil who dominated the news in Northern Virginia and Washington, D.C., could not find another job in law enforcement. Well, that's exactly what happened. Watch.
Jonathan Freetag.
Who's coming up? Girlfriend's coming? Sister? All right.
That is publicly elected Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey, who hired Jonathan Freetag in August of 2020. Just 2 months after the Washington Post first reported the allegations against Jonathan Freetag. Jonathan Freetag is under federal and state investigation. Right now, there are some 400 cases that hang in the balance that Freetag was involved in. Now, Sheriff Ivey is blaming the Fairfax County Police Department for misrepresenting Freetag's past.
A deputy on the job since last August, then let go abruptly this month. The Brevard County Sheriff recently found that deputy shouldn't have made it into the agency to begin with. Jonathan Freetag received a termination letter from the sheriff early this month. A copy of it says, quote, "This agency has determined that you intentionally provided inaccurate, incomplete, and blatantly deceptive information before getting the job." Freetag previously worked for the Fairfax County Police Department in Virginia, and the sheriff's office in Brevard County received a memo indicating he'd resigned from that job in good standing. But the office took another look months later after reports of an investigation into his cases in Virginia, with prosecutors reviewing hundreds of convictions. NBC4 in Washington, D.C. reports a firefighter has been serving a prison sentence after an arrest by Freetag in 2018. but he could be released soon with his case overturned now that Freitag's been accused of lying in police reports and racial profiling. Now, the Sheriff's Office and State Attorney's Office are reviewing cases connected to Freitag here in Brevard County. Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey wrote a letter to the interim police chief in Fairfax County, Virginia, and called the police department's involvement in the hiring process here misleading. The sheriff's letter says, quote, "It is outrageous that an individual such as Mr. Freitag, with a history of alleged misconduct at the Fairfax County Police Department, had become a member of our agency and placed in a position that may have negatively impacted our citizens due to your agency's misrepresentation."
Meanwhile, back in Virginia, in a stunning turn of events, Washington, D.C. firefighter Elon Wilson is released from custody after serving 2 years on the grounds that Jonathan Freitag lied in his report. But there was something else going on April 21st, 2021. That's right, back in Florida, Jonathan Freitag was arrested for drunk driving and evading arrest. The arrest date and time is 4/22/2021 at 12:04. That's only 5 minutes before April 21st. So, is it a coincidence that he went out and got drunk and got behind the wheel and then tried to evade arrest the same date a judge released a man on the grounds that Officer Freitag lied on his report? Well, that's up to you to decide. But what makes Freitag the baby-faced officer of evil, maybe America's worst cop, is the fact that other victims have come forward and said what they saw on the tape with Elon Wilson is exactly how their stop went. That they stopped him for some pretextual minor traffic infraction and then ended up finding contraband in the car. In fact, Asd-docs talked to one of these victims on the phone. Let's listen.
I really wanted to ask you. You are someone that was actually pulled over by the alleged corrupt officer Jonathan Freitag. Please, if you could, tell us from beginning to end, what was your experience like with ex-officer Freitag?
Well, unfortunately, it was a very bad experience. He pulled me over while I was shopping at a craft store chain, and he told me I had a tag light out, and he proceeded to just have me sit in the car while he wrote a ticket. And, you know, at first it seemed just like an ordinary traffic stop, you know, and most people don't get tickets for having just a tag light out. So I was kind of just expecting a warning, and to be honest, I would have just went right to the store and got a bulb for it. Regardless, he kept me in my car for a very long time, and he came back every 10-15 minutes asking, "Do you have any weapons? Do you mind if I search?" And quite honestly, I know some of you out there would just say, well, just let him search and get it over with. Well, unfortunately, there's cops like TriTag out there that, you know, could possibly plant things, and he has allegedly planted things. About 45 minutes after the stop, he pulled me out of the car and had a canine come, and the canine deputy said the dog alerted to my car. They proceeded to tear up everything in my car: the fuse box, the glove box, the middle console, top the trunk, looking where the spare tire is, everything. The car was a mess. He ended up finding drug paraphernalia and told me that I am possibly going to go to jail.
So I guess the real question is, how many people are sitting in prison due to the criminal mind of this baby-faced officer of evil? It just seems odd that somebody so young, he's 25 right now, which means he was younger than that during every single case, could be responsible for such evil. One more thing, Asd-docs talked to several people on the phone in regards to this case. One of those people he talked to on the phone is the person on the screen right now. Go to Asd-docs to see how this story unfolds. My name is Asd Product News, wishing you and yours a very safe and happy rest of the work week. Good night.